Well, hi, it's Jim Owens. I hope you're doing good. It's Sunday evening, July the 31st. And even though I wrote this yesterday, and what you'll hear in a few minutes was written kind of in the first person present time yesterday, I hope it's still meaningful to you. Rather than rewrite it, I simply will share it with you the way I wrote it as I was getting ready for my day and a few experiences I had. I hope it'll encourage you. If it does, I hope you will share it with your friends and shoot me a note to tell me so. If it doesn't, I apologize. And I also, again, apologize still for the backdrop here. The things growing out of my head are still there, but there's little I can do about it. So anyway, here goes. It's Saturday morning. Today is my father's 83rd birthday. He is a kind man. He's wise and patient and meticulous, all things that I aspire to be. And thanks to him and my mother, I've led a rather charmed life, free of much pain or difficulty. It's been a very good experience growing up in my family. I don't have a lot of angst related to being a child, knowing that other than the simple things that all of us deal with. But today, as I was scrolling through my Facebook feed, getting ready to go visit my father, I found about information about an old friend who was going through a little bit of a tough patch in life. And as he works to recover from some really challenging health problems, I was getting ready for my day, and I was sitting in the comfort of my little apartment, planning out my day, and knowing that later on I would make a roughly 2-hour drive to Birmingham to spend some time with my father and mother, to wish him a happy birthday, and to share a little bit of cake, a good meal at a nice place, and to provide him with the funny birthday card, which I always do, and a carefully selected gift card that came from Bed Bath & Beyond, where when I walk in, I get the same kind of greeting as Norm did in Cheers. Yes, I'm in and out of Bed Bath & Beyond far too often. So why does this matter? What do these two things have to do with one another? It seems to me that none of us is more than just a few moments away from some mishap, something unexpected in life that can change our lives dramatically. That could be a crisis in our health. It could be a crisis in our relationship, a loss of a job, or some financial news that has a distinct impact on the trajectory of our lives. They can cause us to be fearful, but they can also cause us to wake up to the joys of everyday living, to the simple act of rising from our bed and being able to walk to heat the coffee, to enjoy a cup of coffee in the quiet of our own homes, to be able to enjoy the sound of thunder in the distance or a train whistle blowing at night, as they do around here from time to time, or from simply learning to laugh at little things in life that threaten our peace of mind. I think that the awareness of these kinds of challenges we see in other people's lives, and the awareness in our own lives of how fragile things are, can help us really remain present and really find more peace of mind and pleasure in our lives. And I think they can make us more generous and compassionate if we let them. Some things, I call them the dumpster fires of our lives, they can just happen to us. We can invite them sometimes, but oftentimes we're just walking through life and things affect us. We're caught in the storm. We're caught in circumstances that are beyond our control. And like my friend in Virginia, who I found out was going through this tough patch, facing these really difficult challenges health-wise. All my friend needed really was a little bit of generosity and compassion, maybe just a little help from his friends to help defray the medical costs that he was unexpectedly facing, that his family was having to face with him recovering from this difficulty. And our friends came together to help him in a pretty remarkable way, I think. All he needed was a little help from those of us who weren't obligated to help him, and not because we thought that we might someday need help ourselves. We simply gave because we could. And I think that's no small thing. As a child, I recall my father and mother and I, when we would drive down Highway 81, Interstate 81, and stop at rest stops along the way, we would often encounter people who were in need, holding a cardboard sign up that said, "Need help," out of gas, stranded, something of that nature. And although today I don't encounter very many instances in which I'll see a sign like that, on occasion I'll see someone with a GoFundMe account that I think is a little bit like that cardboard sign asking for help, and wondering what it takes sometimes for those people to ask for help, to perhaps swallow their pride. My father and mother were always generous with their assistance. They weren't unaware of the fact that sometimes people had invited circumstances into their lives that might have made them need that kind of assistance. And sometimes they understood that people were just simply in need. They didn't worry about that. They gave simply because they could, not worrying about what calamity had befallen someone or why it had befallen someone. They gave because they could. And so today, as I walk through life and scroll through the Facebook pages that are there, and I'll see from time to time this kind of situation, um, I'm mindful of what my mother and father did back then. And so today, or yesterday as it was, on my father's 83rd birthday, I was reminded of the importance of paying attention once more to the joys of life, to remember how fragile life can be for us and for those people around us. I've gone to my little friend's account. I've dropped in a few bucks, not as much as I would like to, not as generous as perhaps other people might be able to be or willing to be. But I did do my part, I hope. And I think that through the efforts of a lot of people, that the misery and pain of a few people can be alleviated. There's an old story about a man who walks along the beach and he's throwing starfish back into the ocean. He is questioned by someone about why he is going to such trouble, that it really won't make any difference about the ocean's ecosystem or the environment, that he throws these starfish back into the ocean, these gentle little creatures. But he is challenged by that, and he responds with this statement: no, but it makes a difference to that one starfish. And I think that's the important message today, that sometimes when we're walking through life, we don't see people's struggles, we don't see their pain, we only see what they let us see. And we can remember that it makes a huge difference to that one little starfish, that he has been tossed back into the ocean, and doing our part to do that. So as you walk along the beach of life today and the rest of the week, I'm not always sure what my efforts do in the scheme of things, particularly with these little videos. Perhaps they're vanity, perhaps they are not what I hope them to be, but I do hope they encourage one or two of you to slow down a little bit, think, and maybe counteract some of all the nonsense and craziness that we find on Facebook and on the media today and places that cause us such distress. And that you'll be mindful about the little joys in life and stop and smell the coffee and enjoy a moment with a friend and look them in the eye and talk to them a little bit and try to see what's going on in their lives and see if you can just share an encouraging word with them, spend a little time with them, or maybe even part with a little bit of your money. So once more, I wish my father a belated happy birthday. And remember, Dad, that it's your 83rd birthday, not at your 84th, as I had claimed it to be for weeks ahead of time. So apologize. And I also wish Godspeed to my friend in Virginia who's in the recovery facility. And I know that he is in the thoughts and prayers of all of his friends. And I hope you have a great week. I'm Jim Owens, and we'll talk soon.